You're listening to Chameleon Church. Biblical Antidotes for the Modern Man. With your host, Allan Aguirre.
Well, good morning. How are you? My name is Allan Aguirre, and I'm the host of the Chameleon Church Show. Live and direct from the Wasatch Back here on Messianic Radio Video Network. Lamb Radio Video Network. I still don't get that right. And it's Tuesday morning, October 27th, the last Tuesday of the month. We're at the end of a month again. I remember last time I looked, it was March. And next Tuesday, will be the presidential elections here in the United States of America. And if you haven't figured out who you're going to vote for by now, we can't help you. We're trying to help you, but we just really can't help you. And if you vote Democrat, we definitely can't help you. We've tried helping you. And if you're a Christian that votes Democrat, we really can't help you at all. At all. No, we're not gonna get political today, are we? Let's not get political today. Let's get something else today. Hey, we should do Q&A. We haven't done that in a while. We should have a guest on here one of these days. We haven't done that in a while either. While the world falls apart around us, we should be goofing off. I'm tired of being serious. My hair's tired of being serious.
Let's move the deck chairs.
Move the deck chairs.
Yeah.
Okay. It's cold out there. There's a little bit of snow on the ground.
The band played.
Yes. I get your reference now. Okay. So we've got some crazy people from Wales running around out there. Look at this.
Both of them.
They're
not even in the same room.
Apparently not. So how was your week, Darryl?
It's going amazing, actually.
Whoa, you had an amazing week?
Yeah, so far so good.
Wow.
I've been talking about how my wife and I are involved in this new venture. It's called School Pods. And what we're doing is we're creating this hybrid between homeschooling and private schooling, where you get these small clusters of groups of kids, 4 to 8, something like that, in a home where you have a teacher, either in one of the parents' home or the teacher's home. And they are dispensing with all of the craziness that's going on in the education system. Because I don't know if you've seen or not, but the education system is completely falling apart. It is like a Roman Colosseum in an earthquake. It's going down. Article just came out that the Toronto District School Board, they had 5,500 registered kids not show up for classes this term. And that means a $42 million hit in their budget because they get paid per kid. So
are parents just not sending their kids to school?
Yeah. They're afraid of COVID.
COVID.
There's a pushback against all this crazy social engineering that's been going on. And so this friend of ours was having a conversation with my wife a few weeks back while, we had them over here for coffee, dinner, whatever it was. He starts talking to her and, she filled him in on a bunch of things. He turns running around, got a friend of his in Montreal, his business partner, and they came up with this whole idea. And now Milena and I are both working with them to try to get this thing established. So we're really trying to recreate the education system, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. How's that old church you guys were meeting at?
Good. We're launching our first public service, not this coming Saturday, but next. So we're going to be meeting weekly now, Saturday mornings as opposed to afternoons. And the congregation's being launched.
Cool.
So we've got a new logo, we've got a new name for the congregation, everything else.
You got a new name for the congregation?
Yep.
It's not going to be the name you've had.
No, that was our Peterborough congregation, and it's dead. It's
right. So,
yeah.
I have a song called "The Holding Stare."
Yeah,
I wrote it like in '86 or '87. And I re-released it on an album that came out in '94. And there's the chorus is crazy. It's like a bunch of one-liners about religion, and one of them is repeat our Father, Jesus Christo, Virgin Mary, and Saint Peter, calling upon an exorcist, casting out demonic unrest, faith in religious ceremonials, blah blah blah. But live, I would go repeat our Father and Jesus Christo, and I would do that. Yeah. So that was just a kind of little bit of muscle memory there.
Yeah.
So then you have a website though with that congregational name.
We're in the process of building it right now.
Right, but you have the URL for the old name.
Yeah. Well, no. Now it's just that one is forwarded. So Ruach HaEmet is now forwarded to A Light to the Nations. So what we've decided to do is Ruach HaEmet, the Spirit of Truth, is going to be the name of the online broadcast.
Gotcha.
So we're going to keep the name. I mean, we've spent a couple of years branding it, and especially here on the Lamb Network, that really cool intro that Mark made and everything else. So we'll just keep that, but the congregation name is now going to be called Mayim Chaim, Living Waters, because we're in Niagara Falls.
Bayin Hayin?
Mayim Chaim.
Messing with you. The Mellow Hagoyim intro?
No.
Not that one?
That one. So yeah, we've got a nifty a logo that's been put together. It's cool. It's very cool.
Cool. That's very cool. So what nifty intro are you talking about?
The Ruach HaEmet one.
This one. That one?
That's the one.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, don't you miss these days? Don't you miss those days?
I was on the show last week.
You were on the show last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get invited to anything.
No, that's because of your pleasant disposition, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. No one invites me to nothing, man. I bet you guys have like little weekend get-togethers and barbecues and stuff. I don't get invited to those either.
No, nobody's getting together for anything.
Yeah. Oh, the COVID. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you guys did get together for something, you'd all be wearing masks. Yeah, I'm not interested in going to
that. No.
You know what? You guys hang out by yourselves. I'm not interested in showing up to anybody's house wearing a freaking mask. Unless it's that special mask that Dina made me. Dina, where are you?
Yeah.
So you guys are hanging out. So Rabbi Darryl is making the show rounds here on the Lamb Video Radio
totally
Network.
Totally.
I'm not invited to anything. No one invites. No one likes me. In fact, they leave my show and they join other people's show.
See, there's our new logo.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
Living Waters. Hey, what's with all that Star of David stuff? All that Jewish stuff. What's with all that Jewish stuff?
It's because I'm Jewish. I'm not Jew. I'm Jewish.
There's no Jew or Greek.
Oh, now you're going to start messing people up theologically.
Call him No Man Rabbi. That one popped up
We
the
do
other
that
day.
show.
That one popped up the other day.
When did we do that show? That was over a year ago.
Oh no. I got a message from a friend. I just shared Rabbi Darryl's message. It was awesome, blah, 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 blah. And then they came and started attacking me because he calls himself rabbi. And I'm like, I don't have time for that.
So they shared my message, but then they started complaining about the fact that I'm called Rabbi?
Not the person that shared it.
Oh, okay.
People that saw the share.
Ah, okay.
You know, those Torah observant people that know what they're talking about. That out of nowhere have figured it all out. And I am here to tell all of you that Jesus' real name has more Y's and W's and H's than you can ever put on a piece of paper, on a little badge.
It's like now when they type it out, it's almost like they're stuttering.
It's crazy.
Michael Brown, I think it was back in 2013.
Wait, one of these?
What was that?
One of those?
Yeah. I think so.
Oh man.
Yeah, he just says, and Michael Brown has his doctorate in Semitic languages. Like that's his whole field of study.
That's his shtick.
And he says, it is not like everybody's saying it is. There is no Yahushua and Yahashua and all this. And oh, man.
That's because he's easy. Because he's easy like Sunday morning. That's why Rabbi was on 3 other shows last week.
Well, someone's got to be pulling their weight around here.
Oh, are you making Lamb Radio great again?
We need to ask Mark that.
I haven't seen or talked to Mark in like months.
Well, whose fault is that?
I'm busy, man. I don't got time.
Oh, okay, so then don't complain about it.
Oh, sheesh. I cracked myself up. These people are looking to us for substance this morning.
They are.
They're screwed.
Well, didn't we give them like 3 months worth of substance last week? How many topics did we cover? 316 or something like that?
I'm pretty confident we've given people enough substance on this show to last them a lifetime.
We could be accused of substance abuse here.
Oh yeah, no, that's my other deal. Facebook abusive content. Sacred namers are the worst. Oh geez, don't get me started. I've been dealing with those Muppets since 1991.
You even have a date on your diary?
Yeah, a date in my diary. Came to a big head at 93, 94, and I just went, you know what?
Stop. Just please stop.
And they didn't.
No, they don't. They
didn't. It's sad because it's just really sad. Anyway, I don't want to go there. So that's something a lot of people don't know is that I've been dealing with these things for a couple decades, and just because they got into Hebrew roots 3 or 4 years ago, and they know how to say Jesus is the real name, and I still say Jesus, and it's like, you don't know anything about me, buddy. Let's just leave it. Let's just move on. Move along. I'm definitely not the droid you want to mess with. And yeah, I just love how everyone becomes an authority on stuff. Hey, you know what? You're only talking to Jason on YouTube, man. You're pushing little buttons around up there.
Yeah, I am. So
if you want substance, you watch CNN.
It's 8 o'clock.
It's 8 o'clock.
It is.
That's our 15-minute window of chit chatter. Now we got to talk about real stuff.
Okay.
The real. Look at this.
Certainly not news.
So we're not going to get political, I said. So I can't mention that next Tuesday's election Tuesday, right?
Well, I mean, spiritually, things are heating up. So there's been a lot of reports coming out now that Trudeau has basically handed off Western Canada to China to
Nice.
facilitate an invasion.
Nice. An invasion of us?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where'd you hear that?
Oh, there's several reports. Dave Hodges, Hal Turner, there's a number of them. And like we discussed last week, Trudeau's got major plans to throw this entire country into tyranny. We're going, full Australia.
Okay, so you're saying that your prime minister has given the Western Canada to China so they can attack the U.S. Mm-hmm. Well, that's going to be easy because all they have to do is go into Washington. All they have to do is go to CHOP, Portland, and then they got California.
Yeah,
because they ain't got no guns, and if they do have guns, they don't know what to do with them. That's why they're staying clear of Montana.
Yeah. Well, they'll get lost in Montana. I mean,
they'll get lost in Montana. And then Idaho's going to be 50-50.
Wyoming.
Utah, they're not going to let them in here. Or Arizona is 50-50. Colorado, they'll just be smoking pot.
Yeah.
And now once you get through the Rockies, then it's wide open. I saw Red Dawn, both of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, we have our monthly pastors meeting right after this, and
you still doing that, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I do have some masochistic tendencies. I agree.
I remember when I used to do a monthly pastors meeting up here in Park City. And it was open to like all sorts of faiths. It was a interdenominational faith-based thingamajigger.
Mm-hmm.
I just had to sit there like this.
The zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, because you can't mess with Lutherans that are LGBTQ and the pork-eating rabbi to my right. And what do you do? What can you do? There's very little you can do. I'm not kidding, man. That is no exaggeration.
I don't doubt it.
Allan, your lip is bleeding. I know. It's really my tongue. It's really my tongue. I'm serious. Wolverines, I'm serious. I've seen the parachutes come down over my mountaintop. All right, so there's reports out there that your prime minister has given up the west end of Canada to China for staging an invasion of the U.S. of A.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to China? A gun behind every blade of grass that would keep them out of here.
Well, that hasn't been the case out in the West, but see, we don't know how this is all going to play out. So I have I'm calling for a prayer meeting on Saturday night. It's Halloween, so there's an extra reason to have a prayer meeting for the city. But
apparently, I'll be in Vegas. Apparently, I'm going to be in Vegas Halloween night for the Sean Feich worship guy that's running around the country.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I guess I'll be in Vegas Saturday to go to his worship deal.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm sorry for interrupting you again. So.
Yeah, so we've called. I'm calling for a prayer meeting.
So you're doing a trick or trunk on Saturday night prayer meeting.
Yes, yes, and the church is right across from a big cemetery. It's a War of 1812 cemetery. So
War of 1812 cemetery.
Oh yeah. Well, it's called the Battle of Lundy's Lane. So a major battle apparently occurred there, and the church is called Battlefield Gospel Church. So,
wow.
Strategically very interesting. So we're calling for a citywide prayer meeting. I was just talking before I got on the show with the city church network coordinator, and we're inviting the entire city to come pray, because I think that God can turn this thing around. Well, we know He can, but it really depends on us. I mean, there are times where He says in Scripture, it doesn't matter what you do. This deal is sealed. After what Manasseh did, He says, I'm destroying Jerusalem. Doesn't matter. But in this case, what concerns me is that if this does happen. So after the event that we're not going to talk about for November 3rd, and everybody starts rioting, because one way or another, there's going to be massive rioting. We know that. I mean, the stage has been set, the flames have been fanned, and especially when the leftists lose their minds for a second time in 4 years, it's going to be ugly out there. You know, they've been running stage rehearsals for the past year in these different groups. That's going to be the opportunity that they're going to take to go in there. But I think that if Trudeau really is doing this, and I have no doubt that he is, because from the time that he got into power in 2015, he's been nothing but a Chinese sock puppet. I mean, he's come right out and said that he admires the communist regime, and his father was part of the Communist Party before he realized that couldn't get him elected, so he became a liberal. But if he does this, and if he facilitates what is about to happen, then the judgment's going to come back on us. And so I think that the church needs to step in and repent and ask God for intervention, like, throw Trudeau from the train or something like that. I don't know, but something's got to happen, and I believe that God is waiting on us to do it. So I'm doing my part.
We're a little busy down here. You're going to have to take care of Canada on your own.
Yeah. Like it's crazy what's going on.
We're trying to keep the world from falling, because the U.S. goes down, everyone goes down.
Yeah.
So China released some videos. Have you heard of this new Israeli video TV station thing called Izzy?
No.
Yeah, for the last couple months, I've been getting this promotional lifetime, kind of like we're launching it lifetime, $5 a month for life. It's like a Netflix, but it's all Israeli content.
Okay.
Documentaries, series, shows, movies, subtitles, and all that. Apparently, it's an LA guy that's relocated to Israel, made Aliyah, rite of passage, thingamajigger, and he started this company. So, in the same way that Israel, this guy who's made Aliyah to Israel started and launched this Israeli TV network. I heard that China started one last week, something called Hunter TV or something. Oh man, it's trying to teach and explain grace. Not true.
No.
Incorrect. That's not true or correct, Leon, and definitely not going to even try and do that here today. We're not going to do that this morning, are we? We don't want to do that, do we? That's just not true. First, and it's more than 200. That's just none of that is true. Here, do yourself a favor. Read this. Hey, how come your name is very familiar? I'm trying to figure out why your name looks familiar. Leon, that's not true. Paul is not like this. No, he's not that special. Prophesied 1,000 years before he did. No. And yeah, there's nothing. We're not talking about second covenant for Gentiles. We're not buying into that. No. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna kind of like move on here. You're incorrect, Leon. So anyway, China TV, 100 TV. Just kidding. That's back into politics. Yeah, you're not missing anything, Tim. Yeah, they're coming from Facebook. So the posts are coming from Facebook. So what are we going to talk about? Oh yeah, we don't know what we're talking about yet.
I'm just saying that I'm calling for a prayer meeting because
that's right.
Things are culminating November 3rd, and what gets unleashed after November 3rd it's not going to be good. There's got to be a serious cleansing that happens, and nobody knows what that's going to look like.
Right.
I think that Trump wins, then he gets busy on cleaning up the mess. Why he allowed it to go on for 4 years like he did, I don't know. There's all kinds of speculation as to what's going to happen with the Senate, and then the because there are reports saying that Lindsey Graham is now in trouble, and we don't know. Like, you can't trust anything that goes on out there right now. So hold on to your hats, boys and girls. It's going to be a fun ride.
Yep. Oh, I have to say goodbye to this guy. You can listen to whomever you want. I ain't your daddy. I don't want to be your daddy. Your name's familiar, though. I'm not sure why your name is familiar, but anyway. Yeah. So you're calling. So you're going to do a prayer meeting on Saturday, and I'm going to be going to Vegas for a prayer meeting, and should be kind of interesting, huh? Well, it's definitely an interesting week. So it's definitely an interesting week. Oh, look, I know who you are, Leon. We're no longer friends on Facebook because of your rhetoric. Oh, it's you. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, aren't you the Allan Aguirre likes David Bowie guy? Isn't that who you are? That's who you are, isn't it? You're the Muppet that can't sleep at night because I like David Bowie. Isn't that true? It is. Oh, dude, you need to find your own freaking platform, dude, that doesn't and don't attach my name to it. Go do your own thing somewhere else. April's right. You are that tool. Unbelievable. He's got such a hard on for me. He has to come in here and do that. Oh, so now he's not keeping Torah. Don't you have like a group about Torah? Or didn't you have a group about Torah? Oh, geez. Anyway, is there a way you can block Muppets like this from the show? I don't know. It's just unbelievable. Oh, there it is. Block user. Dun, dun, dun. This guy is such a Muppet. Oh, this is the guy that's like lost his. So he started this Torah group on Facebook.
Okay, but we don't need to talk about it.
It's entertaining.
No, it's not. We need to focus on the positive, not the negative.
Oh, I'm not even focusing on the negative. I'm focusing on the hilarity of it all. You know what? While you do that, I'm gonna get some more coffee.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
I'm out of coffee. I need some more coffee. I need some more coffee.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll be doing the prayer meeting 6:00 on Saturday, and then following the week we're launching our first week of our public worship services. So the broadcast will continue at 12 noon. That won't change, but we're excited. And in the midst of all this craziness, God is doing something as well. And for those of us who walk with him, we know that he's got great plans for us, but we have to be steadfast. The verse that my wife has been getting over the last little while is 1 Peter 5:8, which tells us to be sober, be vigilant, be aware, be alert, for your enemy prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. And I know that there's a lot of people getting devoured out there. There's a lot of Christians and professing Christians who are getting thrown over into the ditch, and they're losing their sanctification. They're entering into outright sin. The enemy's trying to tear things down. So we have to gird one another up and be praying for one another. So that's kind of where things are at right now with all of this. So anyway, it's been a pretty wild ride. So anyway, be in prayer over these next couple weeks, because what ends up happening leading up to November 3rd and then after November 3rd is going to change the landscape of the U.S. and because of that, the entire world. But it's not all bad. I mean, you've got peace treaties that are breaking out over in the Middle East. Now apparently it's Sudan. Is it Sudan or Somalia is going to recognize Israel's right to exist. I mean, what Trump is doing over there is amazing. Like, he's getting all these Islamic nations to recognize Israel's right to exist, and the media is not reporting on any of this stuff.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Well, was it Sudan that was the latest one, or Somalia? I can't remember which.
I don't know, but it's just the fact that that's happening is just mind-blowing, and no one cares. Well, dude, the U.S. government told everyone that there's life on other aliens exist twice during COVID. Yeah. No one cares about that either. But yeah, it's pretty amazing.
6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time will be the prayer meeting, but we'll be praying well into the evening, so you can join us at any point. It's not going to be broadcast, but we're just going to do it, and we're going to ask God that He would overthrow these wicked leaders. I feel like we'll get an all-out civil war after the election, no matter who wins, and that's pretty much the case. Because the reality is that George Soros and the elites don't care really about the leader of the U.S. What they want is the destruction of the U.S., and so they're trying to put their guy in there in order to make that happen. Now, if they get Biden in there, it becomes a lot easier because he's bought and paid for. But if it's going to be Trump, then they're still going to try to execute their plan anyway. And this is why it's so important to understand spiritual warfare. You got to know what the tactics of the enemy are. And everybody, so many people are just so narrowly focused that, well, we're just going to focus on this and we're going to pray on this. No, you got to understand what's going on all over. Why are there these flare-ups in all these different places and all these different situations? Now that they've confirmed Amy Coney Barrett, now the squad is saying that we need to pack the court. I mean, they've introduced this. Even Ginsburg herself said last year or 2 years ago that was a bad idea. But now the leftists are saying, well, we want to destroy that. We want to get rid of the Electoral College. We want to make sure that we can stay in power forever and nobody can stop us. That's what they're saying. So stop listening to the nonsense. Stop arguing about the nuances. And let's focus on the greater, the bigger picture. Is that we have an enemy of our souls who wants all of our destruction, including the fools that he's using, the useful idiots. And we have a God in heaven who created this all, who is in our corner, who indwells us, and he is on our side, and he's the one that's going to fix all this. And I'll get off my soapbox now.
No, it's okay. I had to get coffee.
Yeah. I haven't had mine yet.
Oh, that's not good.
No, it's not.
Imagine this guy on the coffee.
Yeah, see?
We're trusting in his sovereignty, man.
Yeah.
We are. If I don't know, well, I do. But if the last 8 months haven't revealed the heart and mind and soul of the left, and if you haven't been able to see that and how it's counterproductive to anything godly, if you haven't been able to make that distinction or that delineation, because I've even said, you know what, take Trump off the table. Take Trump completely, entirely off the table. Are you still going that way? It's the squad. Yeah, the squad. Oh, the squads. It's kind of shocking, isn't it? How in the last, because they've just the last 8 months they've come out. They've taken off their masks. They're not even hiding anymore. They're just, it's plain. It's not even hiding anymore. It's just out there, and people don't get it. It's quite a trip. Isn't that weird, man? When you're deceived, you don't know that you're deceived, but this is blatant. This is screaming. Yeah.
Well, another exciting thing is that I actually started working on my book again the other night for the first time in like 2 years.
Oh yeah.
So that's really cool. So I was, reviewing what I had written, and in the chapter on antinomianism, I cover the different words for sin within the Hebrew, and there's three different words in Hebrew for sin, and one is kind of like, I made a mistake, didn't really realize it, but there's one it's like outright rebellion, and it's the shaking your fist at God, like Joseph Stalin did just before he died. And in Isaiah, I think it's Isaiah 58 or 9. I'll have to go back and look at it. But there's actually a passage that says that you are the offspring of rebellion. So that kind of sin is actually a spiritual entity. It's saying that you are the children of that. It's taken on its own life. There's a spirit behind it. And that's what's going on right now, is that there's this spirit of rebellion, and the children of rebellion are now being unmasked. Like they're so crazy. You listen to AOC speak.
I can't.
It's madness.
Now,
like, that's not just human.
Correct me if I'm right or wrong. Didn't she
correct
win?
you if you're right.
What's that?
I'll correct you if you're right.
That too. Didn't she win like an open casting call for that role?
Yep.
Yeah, right? This is like not why don't people understand that that's incriminating? Oh.
But none of this matters to anybody.
I know.
I mean, the fact that they're not storming Biden's house and Hunter Biden's house and dragging him off to tar and feather him.
He's from Canada.
Like,
it's crazy.
Even 20 years ago, if a politician had been caught with what he's been caught with.
Well, someone said replace Hunter's name with Trump Jr. The last week.
If he blows his nose the wrong way, it's in the news and people are attacking. Ah! But they've got this laptop that, the FBI had in its possession since December of last year and didn't do anything. Wow. Christopher Ray, anybody home? No.
It's amazing.
So it's they don't care. They don't care anymore. The people who have made their decision, it's these children of rebellion, have now gotten to the point where there's no moral consciousness, so it doesn't matter what you throw at them. You could sacrifice a baby right in front of them and they would be okay with that. That's where this thing has gone to. So there's no point in trying to reason. There's no point trying to discuss. Nobody's listening anymore. You know, what was that song from 1981? What are words for when no one listens anymore?
Yeah. So the veil is thick. The deception is thick. We're trusting in God's sovereignty. Mm-hmm. He's truth. He's not a liar. He's not a man that he would lie. He hates unjust weights. He hates when humans do these type of things that these people are doing and have done. He hates it.
And he's giving people over to their depraved mind, and he's giving them over
like a Black Friday deal at Walmart, dude. They're just being given over. Speaking of Black Friday, apparently Walmart's going to be open multiple days a week throughout November instead of one day. So there's going to be a lot of good deals for you guys out there for Hanukkah gifts. Don't forget I've got a post office you can send them to. Hanukkah gifts, Black Friday Hanukkah gifts.
I don't know if you want to use black and and Hanukkah and this.
Why the hell not? We're gonna trunk and treat, right? Aren't we doing that this weekend?
Is that what we're doing?
We're calling it prayer meetings. We're calling it prayer meetings, but it's really trunk or treat, isn't it? I should post a picture of me near a trunk just to mess with everybody. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's I mean, here's what kind of blows my mind. We've been talking about this since the 80s, right? I mean, remember in the 80s talking about this kind of stuff happening and no one prepared. A lot of people didn't get prepared. Pastors didn't prepare people for it because it was too sensational. How's it going to happen? How's it going to play out? Well, we know we have a handful of common factors that might occur, but for the most part, it's not the way it's not happening the way we thought it would happen. That's for sure.
Yeah, see, Martin's right. Martin understands immunology and virology. COVID doesn't work on Black Fridays. Or in BLM protests, or in Antifa protests, or with Chris Como walking outside of his apartment without his mask, despite the fact that he tells everybody else to wear one.
Or when you're sitting down at the restaurant at your table.
Yeah.
You can only get it if your mask is off walking through the restaurant. Don't get me started. Come on, knock it off. You keep.
Yes, Dina, we were talking about that a little earlier. There are a bunch of Chinese soldiers in Western Canada getting ready to invade.
So where in Canada are they hanging out? Victoria?
No, I think probably, well, maybe in Vancouver, but more than likely in Alberta. Because you got that whole border there beyond the Rockies that, I mean, there's nothing there. Because you go into Montana, like I said, we have to pray that if that's the case, then it's going to be like Operation Barbarossa, where Hitler sent the troops into to Russia, and they got trapped there in the winter. Didn't work out well.
So surely Trump knows about this.
Of course he knows about it.
They should go through Sturgis during Sturgis.
And apparently there's a World Series on now.
Isn't it over, or is there like one game left or something? No. I'm like the last guy to ask about this, but I was a little surprised to hear that there was a World Series in October, but apparently it's normally in October.
Yeah, well, they shortened the season.
Well, but isn't it normally? I thought it was weird that it was in October, but apparently it's always in October. Anybody out there know about this?
Yep. Usually, playoffs usually start at the end of September, beginning of October. And so it's right on time. So what they did, as opposed to the hockey and the basketball, where they shut everything down for months and then extended it further, they just shortened the season. So normally the baseball season's 162 games. They lopped off 100 games this time.
Okay, I don't understand any of that. But apparently the World Series is always in October.
Yes.
I was surprised. I didn't know it was always in October. That's how far removed I am from it. So apparently there is a World Series going on. I heard that the Dodgers were in it. It's only time baseball, football, at the same time. I could be wrong. So I think there's only one game left. And if the Dodgers win it, they can win it. I only know that because I heard it on satellite radio. World Series? Yeah, right. Yeah, it's the U.S. series. That's
U.S. and Canada, none other matter.
Yeah. So it is always October.
Because if you ask a bunch of limeys to come over here, they'll bring their cricket bats instead. And then they won't know what to do.
So, yeah, apparently there's a World Series on.
Yeah, but it's like professional sports has plummeted so far, like, nobody cares.
You know, I wasn't a big professional sports guy ever. I mean, I like my World Cup soccer. I like watching golf. But boy, what I have seen happen this last 8 months with the Marxist support of professional sports. Oh, I'm sorry. With the BLM support of professional sport, it is appalling. It is deplorable. I'll use their word, deplorable. But yeah, what can you do? Hey, we actually have I'm trying not to talk about Tuesday's election. That's what I'm trying not to do here. And yeah, Montana takeout.
But it gets to times like this, and this is where it gets really exciting to see what God's going to do. Because God always does things at the last minute, and he always does, it's just when time.
I love how God waits till way past the midnight hour.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Hold on a second. Well, is it in Joshua or is it in Jubilees where it looks like the angels go to God and they go, "Hey, are you aware of what's going on down there on earth? It's a bloodbath down there. This is pre-flood." And he's like, "Oh." Is that Jubilees or Joshua? I think it's Jubilees where it comes off like that. Hey, God, are you aware of what's going on down here on this planet you put together? It's a bloodbath. These people are getting... And he's like, "Oh, what a mess. Let's clean that up." Oh, man.
Yeah, it's wild stuff.
It is. You're going to go to Sam's and stock up on stuff? Yeah.
All right.
Just for the record, it's really hard to find 9mm or 22 LR out there. Let alone 5.56. It's all gone, man.
All right, I got to go get my coffee now.
So you're left alone with me, and I have literally nothing to talk to you about. How do you like my background? Look at that, St. Andrews. I love that piece. Yeah. You're going to throw rocks? Well, there you go. The Scots did that. Now that Rabbi's gone, oh, man, rough having this guy. How's everybody doing? You guys doing good? Good. Looking forward to the weekend. Looks like I'll be in Vegas, and then we got this stinking election. Yeah. What else? Good to have you guys again every Tuesday morning on here. Sorry, we're trying. See, we could do a Torah portion thing like we used to, but I don't know, man. Yeah, you like my JPEG? Yeah, nice JPEG back there, isn't it? Yeah. We should probably come up with a format for Tuesday morning because we just kind of wing it and freeform it. But I like that too. We should probably get a guest on here. We haven't had a guest on here in a while. And what else? Oh, there's Darryl. Darryl's coming back in 3, 2, 1. No, he's got his hands full of coffee. He's not ready to come back on yet. Oh, you should see him. He's like, doesn't know what to do. Where do I put this? Where do I put my coffee? Got to get it off out of the camera view. Oh, here he comes. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Darryl. Oh, he didn't. He saw me doing that. Right. I think the open platform brings better discussion as well. Chance. Oh, there it is. He's got his Chameleon mug.
I have my Chameleon mug. Special edition.
I don't even have one that's so special.
It's really special.
Oh,
man. So what aren't we talking about again? Sorry.
Exactly. You.
Don't talk about me.
Don't you talk about me. No, no, no. Don't you talk about me. So I have my daughter. So last December, January, we challenged our community to press in for what do you want? Like something big for this year. And what do you want? And my daughter, who's here in Utah with us, those of you might remember 3.5 years ago, her husband walked out on her and the 3 kids. Her heart's desire for 2020 was, I want to buy my own house with my own money. And last weekend we moved her into her own house that she bought with her own money. That's pretty freaking stinking cool. Yeah.
Amen.
It's pretty cool.
I don't know, current event show, and there's nothing current about it.
I know.
We've talked it. We've exhausted everything. We've covered it all. Nobody wants to hear about it anymore. It's like, oh my goodness.
I'm tired of talking about it.
Well, it's just, one of the things I've really been focusing on the last little while is the art of focusing. And when you start doing that, you realize just how distracted we really are. It's this like ding, 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 ding all day long. And then we wonder why people are sick and why people are tired and fatigued. It's like they're getting pulled in 1,000 different directions. I mean, it's madness.
Yeah.
And Psalm 46:10 says that cease striving and know that I am God. Just shut up, sit still, take a deep breath. And I've got this.
Yeah. I'm wondering how much prayer we should, well, that was what I was about to say was pretty stupid, but maybe next Tuesday we do some prayer over intercession for Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And hell, the earth is flat. I mean, it's not true, but I'll say it, Chance. Oh, sheesh. But thanks, Chance. Thanks for trying. At least you have a good attitude about it, unlike the last guy. But maybe after the election, the Tuesday after that, it should be an interesting show.
As you're broadcasting from your bunker.
Oh, crap.
Well, you're in one now anyway. I mean, you're in Utah.
Yeah.
People would have trouble finding you even on the best of days.
That's the idea. I don't need to be found. I got too many weirdos out there. So yeah, maybe I'll just I'll wear my IDF scarf, my IDF t-shirt. I'll wear some, camo fatigue stuff. I'll have an AR strapped around my neck.
Sure.
Turn into that show for a day. Yeah, as long as we still have electricity and internet, you can do whatever you want. There you go. Take that one clip and run with it. That's right.
Yeah.
Saying that the earth is flat. No one's gonna believe you, dude. Oh man. I don't talk about that because I have hurt flat earthers' feelings because of what I say about it. So I just, I don't want to be that guy. Well, I do, but I don't. So I just kind of, there's nothing to fear but fear itself.
Yeah.
Oh,
I haven't triggered anybody on flat Earth in quite a while.
Quite a while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob Skiba. I haven't talked to Rob in a while. I should probably say hi to him. Any areas of the election in particular we can pray into? Well, we need to pray that Trump wins and that he's safe, that his family is kept safe, that he's kept safe, and what else? That he wins the election. A
Well,
landslide.
it's not a matter of him not winning the election. We know he's going to win the election. It's a matter of whether they're going to allow it to go through. I mean,
Wait. I've lived in countries like that. The fact that we have to say that about the U.S.
Isn't it something else?
Oh my gosh.
The ballots that they're throwing into the garbage. I mean, no one ever saw that coming. The U.S. has literally become a banana republic without the bananas.
That's insane, man.
Yeah, but people have to understand that this is what leftism, progressivism
is all about. I've lived in those countries.
It's not progressive at all. It's regressive. It brings you down to nothing. It brings you down to a state of powerlessness. It brings you to, this is what sin does. This is what rebellion against God does. And it's been a slow heating up for decades now. You go all the way back to, go back as far as you want, but certainly with the election of Bill Clinton, and things really began to move quickly after that. And, you have the introduction of all these abominations with, gay marriage and abortion clinics on every corner and stuff like that. Now transgenderism and the mutilation of, it's just, and did people not think that they were going to bring consequences? The church has sat by and they've just gone, listen, we got our thing going here. And then God says, your thing's coming to an end. And then COVID hit. And all these churches got shut down. Some of them said, we're not opening up till 2021. If you're not holding public worship services, you're not a church. So stop taking people's money. Just shut down, sell the building, go do something else. If you're not providing spiritual insight for people, I don't get it. I don't get where the people's mentality is that any of this is a surprise. God's got a whole mess he's got to clean up now.
Well, I love the way, here's the thing, man. The church has completely dropped the ball in the last 8 months as a whole. Church at large. They've completely outed themselves for not really being one of us. The fear, this all of that stuff. And then those that have gone out there to, like this guy I'm gonna go see on Saturday. Man, the amount of the percentages of the mainstream church that have talked against this guy going out there, look at what he's doing is unsafe. It's a supercell? What are they calling those things? Super spreader? What?
Yeah.
These guys are doing worship outside without masks. God forbid. Oh man. And there's no way we can convince them otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not content with the whole, one day we'll all be dead and they'll know that they were wrong and I was right. That doesn't work for me. I'm trying to help these people understand the error of their ways now so they can avoid that tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not interested. I mean, they hate the fact that we voted for Trump. They hate the fact that we put Trump in office. They blame us for all that. And for us to be, supporting church openings and public gatherings of worship and all that, man, they just can't wrap their heads around that. But see, that's the difference between the called and the chosen. Many are called, few are chosen. The called eliminate themselves from being the chosen because they can't wrap their head around the fact that Jesus said what he said. Eat my flesh, drink my blood. And he didn't even try to explain it. if God's thoughts and ways are not our thoughts and ways, then every new revelation of Jesus should be offensive, because it's outside of our paradigm. But it's our responsibility to align ourselves with his spirit, his prophetic spirit, which is the testimony of Jesus, so that we know what it is that God's saying and doing in these times, in any time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they're losing it. And that's why they can't understand. Because, see, they deny the prophetic, they deny prophets, they deny the spiritual gifts and the manifestation of the Holy Spirit, the way we're talking about charismatica. And so they can't believe that anybody would that God would be behind a prophetic utterance regarding a Trump presidency. And so Trump's bad. And so they're on the wrong side of this thing. And because they've put themselves voluntarily on the wrong side of this thing, they were seduced into supporting BLM and anything that Soros does. Like we were talking about before the show.
You've got a website, Evangelicals for Biden.
Yeah. And then you've got that.
It's like,
so see what happens. It's like, and then now they're over here. And it's so much harder to explain to them that, no, look at how far removed, look at the chasm between where you're at and where God is at. I'm not saying God's a Republican. No, I'm not. But I do know that God does not support Jerusalem not being the capital of his country that he chose, where he placed his name. This is like thousands of years old, this concept. I know he's not in support of the non-biblical version of marriage between a man and a woman. I know he's not in support of killing children and abortion. And I know he's not in support of a platform that doesn't believe that there's a God.
If there was one thing that really got his ire up in ancient Israel, was child sacrifice. There is nothing more disgusting and infuriating to God than that. I mean, every baby that's killed, I can just see him in heaven and his eyes are smoldering, and how he doesn't unleash hell fury when that happens, I don't know. I really don't know. And here it has become, when everything else was getting shut down, they had to keep open the abortion clinics.
Yeah.
Because they had to continue to get their occult power. In one way, if there's going to be all these lockdowns and everything else, at least Halloween's going to get shut down in part, which reduces the enemy's power. It's just, if you think that you're going to escape this, if you think that you're going to sidestep this, if you think that you're going to arrive on, like, what's someone like, and you could pick one of any 10,000 U.S. politicians, what do they actually think is going to happen when they go stand before him? When they die, when you've got a Ruth Bader Ginsburg who's Jewish,
I don't think they believe that
stands before God, what's she going to tell him? I didn't know.
I don't think they believe that there's a God, so they're not even.
Yeah, but they're going to find out.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
Because the moment you take I remember I was pastoring in California in 2005 when Yasser Arafat died. And that was a day of rejoicing for a lot of people. And I just pictured what happened when he woke up on the other side. Uh-oh. Yeah, the God of Israel is the one you have to stand before, buddy. And there's nothing you could do now. And all of these so-called Christians, in Matthew 7:21, says, many will come to me in that day and say, Lord, Lord, did we not cast out demons, do healing, many miracles? Depart from me, I never knew you, you workers of lawlessness. They're on the wrong side of this. And once you get on the other side, it's too late. There's nothing you can do. And it's forever, baby. People are playing fast and loose with the things of God right now, and God will not be trifled with.
I have so many liberal left, Christian left friends and family because of the Christian music industry. The majority, I'm talking probably 7-3. I mean, at least 75% of these people are left-wing, Democrat, pro all this nonsense, and and they believe they're Christians. The majority of the Christian of obviously the majority of the entertainment industry, obviously we know that well, but the same is true in Christian music. So I have all these Christian friends that were in the entertainment, or they were either musicians or they were in the industry of some in one way, shape, or form. And they're all on the wrong side of this thing. And it freaks me out and it bums me out. And there's nothing I can do. They think I'm nuts. They think I'm the one that's left the faith. They think I'm the one that's compromised. They think I'm the one that's deceived. And there's literally nothing I can do to help change their mind. And that kind of trips me out, not because they're not listening to me or they think that I'm the one that doesn't bother me at all. You can think I'm just like this Muppet that just was on here. He can think whatever he wants about me. I don't care. I know that I'm right. But there's nothing I can do to help these people. They're not listening. Yeah. Tim said that where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. That verse is the culmination of a dialogue Paul is having in Corinthians about how there's a veil over man's heart when it comes to Torah. And that veil is removed when we come to Jesus. And that's where that's where there's freedom and freedom indeed. And that veil is removed by the power of the Holy Spirit. That's contextually what that is referring to. Well, because there's this veil over man's heart regarding Torah, regarding God's covenant, they're deceived and they're not free. And the only way they can come to that freedom, contextually, based on what Paul's talking about in Corinthians, they have to come to the knowledge of Messiah in order for the Holy Spirit to remove that veil from their heart regarding Torah. And so when my Christian friends say, well, what does that say about me? I'm like, you need to press into what God is doing, because until you keep his commandments, you're lawless. Yeah. It's a very difficult conversation to have with these people, life and life more abundant. It's like Christianity. See, I have always said, so way about 30 years ago, remember when, what was that? Best in Show. Remember when that movie came out, Best in Show, about the dog? It was a parody movie, a spoof movie about the dog.
Show
dog thing. Mm-hmm. Well, the same people that did that were making one about the beauty pageant, little kid pageants. And there was a rumor going around that they were going to make one about Christian music. Early to mid 90s. And then there was an article in Time magazine or Newsweek or something about Christian music festivals. And they were running around some Christian music festivals and reporting on them. And one of the reports said that Christianity is a one-line slogan. It's a T-shirt slogan religion. It's like Christian. I mean, it was everything they said was true. It was quite embarrassing, but Christianity is a failure-based mentality religion that is all about the lowest common denominator. Man, they're not interested in excellence. They're not interested in anything that has to do with,
Don't get started on the whole spirit of excellence things, because we have been fighting that one. And the chapter in this thing is spiritual that you did on Bezalel was great in that. I love
terrifying. That. So terrifying. So anyway, failure-based mentality, right? So lowest common denominator. It's like they're shooting so low. Mm-hmm. Well, but the faith as a whole has been doing that for a long time, centuries.
Well, because it's this mentality that we just have to occupy until he comes. It's
Right.
like I got to hang on to the skin of my teeth, and God's going to rescue me from this. What happened to being more than overcomers? What happened to storming the gates of hell? What happened to conquering?
Right. So we're squatters. We occupy that we don't possess. We're squatters. Didi is saying sojourners. That's the Soros organization I was talking about earlier before we went live.
Yeah.
So because we've been shooting for such a low for so long as a religion, we don't get this reference regarding the deception over our heart, the veil that's over our heart regarding God's covenants. So I can be a Christian and not keep his covenants because of Jesus. And I explain that in all my books. But my point is, this mentality has been
beaten into us.
And has been championed for the last 8 months. Because look at all these Christians, quote, believers that are on the side of Soros, that are on the side of BLM, that are on the side of Antifa, that are against what we're talking about and for what we're against. See what I'm saying? It's like the black, white, black, bad, good, bad, up,
But
down,
even
down,
the
up.
whole submission to the government on these mandates for the masks and everything else. Every time I go out, it never ceases to amaze me that there's not one person who's bucking against this mask mandate. Everybody's wearing them. So when we walk into Costco, we're exempt. Sorry. And my wife, my son, and I are the only ones out of hundreds of people in the store who are not wearing masks. Even 5-10 years ago, do you think that this would have flown? But they have hammered us down to the point, and Christians are doing the same thing. Where are the Christians saying that no, masks are against my religion? Because I'm created in the image of God. And the only time we see masking in scripture is when you're trying to hide something. Now, Moses wore a veil over his face when he came down from Mount Sinai, but Paul says that was because so that they wouldn't see the glory fade. Everybody thinks that the account in Exodus was because they were afraid of the presence of God on him, and so he had to cover it. But Paul says in 2 Corinthians, it's because the glory was fading that he put the mask on. Other than that, masks are against our identity as children of the Most High.
Yeah.
But yet no Christians are saying this. No Christians are saying, and I talked to pastors about this. I'm going on to a meeting in a few minutes, and I'm going to be hearing about, we got to keep the 1/3 capacity, and we got to keep this, and sometimes we got to turn people away. It's just like, shut down, shut up, go away.
Right. Well, the reason why they're not talking about it is because they don't know about it. You can't talk about what they don't know about. They can't teach what they don't know.
Oh, come on. Intuitively, we should understand that there's something very, very, very wrong about this.
You're assuming they have common sense.
These masks don't work.
You're assuming they're common sense people and they have reason.
Well, common sense isn't common practice.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but that's where we're at. That's where they're at. That's what we're working with. And see, that's how we've gotten to where we've gotten, because they've rejected everything we're talking about. They just don't understand.
Well, you know why?
They literally don't understand.
It's hard.
Yeah.
The reason is that they're rejecting is because it's hard to do what we do day in and day out. You're constantly pushing against something that you can't even see. You're constantly pushing against the enemy. You're constantly getting attacked for it. You're constantly being worn down. And Paul warns us. He says, do not get weary in doing good, for in due time you shall receive your reward. Right after he finishes saying, God will not be mocked. For whatever man sows, he shall reap.
Elisha asked for a double portion, and Elijah said, you've asked for a very hard thing. Why is the anointing of God a very hard thing? Well, because it goes against absolutely everything. It goes against the grain of our time-space continuum, of our reality.
And you're going to get your ass kicked when you do.
Yeah. It's not the norm.
No. It's not. I got to go.
All right, man. You have a great week. Be careful with your your prayer service on Saturday night. And hey, thanks for all of you for joining us once again on another Tuesday. You guys are making Tuesday mornings great again. Appreciate that here in the Chameleon Church. And I should probably get all this going. And hey, we will talk to you all. I guess we'll.
You're listening to Chameleon Church. Biblical Antidotes for the Modern Man. With your host, Allan Aguirre.
We are richly blessed to bring you what we believe is the fullest, most diverse, yet up-to-date progressive teachings, discussion, and prayer programming you can find anywhere on this planet. Be sure to take the tour of the MessianicLambRadio.com website. I'm Susan Hoogie, thanking you for joining us on the Messianic Lamb Video Network.